Hey guys, so it is July 8th. It's a Wednesday. It is about 1 p.m. I'm currently waiting for Alex to get home from work. Thankfully, I was able to leave work early to get some things done today, which is the point of this video. And that is that we have 2 appointments today. And of course I'm going to document it, but also today just feels kind of like a fresh start, like an actual fresh start. I feel like maybe I've said that in some of my past videos, but truly today feels like it's physically marking like a fresh start because of these appointments. Slight backstory for those of you who don't know. After my last IUI back in January, Alex and I decided to take a break from fertility clinics and try a more holistic approach, because after doing 3 IUIs, it was kind of heavily recommended by our doctor to move into IVF as like our next step, since the IUIs didn't work, unfortunately. And so since we knew that was kind of what was next in our journey, we wanted to take a break and really just prepare our hearts, prepare our minds, prepare our bodies, and most importantly, just seek God before entering into IVF. And so that's why we ended up taking a more holistic approach, and we found this virtual fertility program online that was about a total of like 18 weeks, I think, from start to finish. And so I feel like that just gave us kind of a foundation of new knowledge, just opening our eyes to things we can do right now while we are still in the waiting, and things we can do to mentally prepare for IVF, but also just to prepare for a healthier lifestyle, a healthier body to hopefully grow a child in. So it was all good things. And I feel like the knowledge we gained from that program will hopefully not only increase my chances to get pregnant, but increase my chances to have a healthy pregnancy, a healthy baby, but then also create a healthy lifestyle to bring children into and pass down some of these healthy habits to them. So after that program ended, we kind of decided to still try naturally now that my body had like adjusted to these changes and this diet and our supplements and everything, which by diet I mean really just staying away from gluten and dairy, seed oils, fried foods, soy, caffeine, even coffee beans, decaf or not. Just really allowing our bodies to fully embrace those changes, but then like live in those changes for a while. Because one of the things we learned through this program is that your body needs several weeks, even up to like 90 days, to fully cleanse yourself of your old habits and any toxins or whatnot, and then fully adjust to these new changes. So we wanted to make sure we gave that our all. So even though the program had ended back in May, I think, we still wanted to practice these changes for a few months after that and just keep trying naturally to really see if maybe we fixed the issue and maybe I would just get pregnant because we cleaned up our diet. It's July, and I'm sorry to say that has not been the case yet. That doesn't mean we're just forgetting everything we learned and just forgetting all the work that we put into this for these past 6-7 months. But it does mean that we are allowing ourselves to be a little more lenient, a little more flexible without being so strict and being so limiting on certain things that we enjoy, like the occasional French fry or Caesar salad, because there's, you know, dairy in the cheese, in the dressing. So we are being a little more realistic with ourselves. However, we are still being conscious of what we're putting in our body. And I feel like because now we have that new foundation and we've been doing it for so long that it's just kind of second nature. And I feel like we've really retrained our brains over the past 6 or 7 months. So I'm definitely more aware and more cautious of what I'm doing, what I'm putting in my body, what I'm eating, what I'm exposing myself to, what products I use. And I think that was the goal, to just have more wisdom in that and to actually put it into practice and make it a part of our everyday life and not just a 3-month challenge or whatever. So all that to say, since, you know, we're still not pregnant, we are ready to take the next steps and ready to revisit IVF. I would like to think that I have more peace about IVF. I am more accepting of IVF being our journey, probably more so than I was back in January. I just feel like since the 3rd IUI didn't work, like reality was crashing down, and maybe, just maybe deep inside, I was really trying to just avoid IVF, and I was just really hoping, you know, the 3rd IUI would work. But since it didn't, then like I really had to come to terms with reality, and then I don't think I was as ready for IVF as maybe I thought I was. But now that it's been, you know, almost 7 months since our last IUI, and now with this kind of refreshed knowledge, refreshed perspective, and optimism that we have in our life, I feel like now I am ready and probably more motivated than ever to enter into IVF. And now that we have some more months under our belt, it's like, okay, I don't want to delay this journey any longer. Let's just fully send it. Let's go. We have extra peace now, knowing that we really have tried everything and we've done our best to at least prime my hormones, my body for something like IVF. And so I just feel like we are in a better headspace now to go into something like IVF. And so for all those reasons, it feels good, it feels right, and I genuinely feel like I can say I'm ready. And I think that's like half the battle, is just accepting your reality and getting to a place where you're at complete peace and honestly excitement towards something like IVF, because it is going to require a lot of physical effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of mental strength. And so before even starting that journey, I think it's important to just have a good mindset towards it. Your hormones, your eggs, it's all gonna feed off of what you're feeling, what you're thinking. And all that to say, in order to start the IVF process, obviously we need to go back to our fertility clinic. And since it has been more than 6 months since we've been there, we have to do what is called a return patient consultation. So that's what we have today. That's at 2 o'clock. And so because we kind of have this mental clarity of direction and next steps, the appointment today does feel like the start of the actual, hopefully, beginning to meeting our future child. Reflecting on these past 3 years and really just the past year of working with a fertility clinic, all of it, of course, is a part of our story, but I feel like there's various chapters and actually starting IVF feels like a next chapter, but it also just feels like, okay, this is gonna be our solution. It better be. Like, you know, there are huge success rates with IVF, and I feel very comfortable with the doctor we're going with and the clinic we're choosing. And I've had personal friends now go through him over this past year and become pregnant and be successful. So I just feel like this has to work, right? Like, all roads have led us to here, and it has to work. So yeah, we have that appointment today. And then right after, we have an acupuncture consultation, which I know just probably sounds out of left field, but you know, over these past 3 years, I have heard nonstop things about acupuncture. So many people have messaged me, stopped me in person, have just brought up acupuncture to me, and I even have some friends claim that acupuncture got them pregnant. Like, acupuncture was the secret. And so I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, is this God trying to get my attention? Like, I've heard about it so much for so long that at some point you gotta be like, okay, God, is this you, or is this still just like the noise and people being people and just trying to share advice? Like, but there's only one way to know, right? And I can do my part and just make the consultation and just hope that God will meet me there and open that door if it's supposed to be open, or close it shut if we're not supposed to walk through it. So I'm excited because it's something totally new, and I have heard about people doing IVF and acupuncture at the same time and just having maybe a more positive or stress-free experience because of the acupuncture. I don't know. Again, my hope is not in any of these people or things or services. I just am opening myself up to whatever God wants to do, wherever he wants to lead. And so I'm just positioning myself to hear from him and to let him lead the way. So that's today. I think because, you know, we took such a long break, I feel like that was enough time to regrow my excitement and refresh my motivation and determination to dive back into the fertility world, make decisions, do the hard things, and finally meet my baby. So it feels good. It feels good. It's just nice to take those frequent long breaks so that you can allow yourself to process things and then get excited again and get hopeful again, and allow yourself that time to kind of close one chapter and get ready to open another. And I feel like that's exactly what today is and where we're at right now in our journey. And I have my laparoscopy still scheduled for July 28th, so in about 2 or 3 weeks from now. And so it's like I have these 2 appointments today, and then I have my surgery in a couple weeks. And then after recovery, once that's all taken care of, like, then we're jumping into IVF. So I just feel like things are picking up the pace and things are falling into line. And yeah, it's just mentally, I feel like I've come a long way. And I don't know if you guys have even noticed or really seen that kind of shift or progression, but I feel it. That's all that matters. And I'm excited to continue bringing you guys along and hopefully to just offer some insight and some interesting content to you guys. I'm still learning a lot. I feel like I have learned a lot, and I just want to keep sharing that. And yeah, I don't know what this next chapter has in store, but it feels good to finally have some clear direction, because you guys know that's been one of my biggest prayers. We're a minute away. We haven't been here in like 6 months, but here we go. And how are you feeling about it, babe?
Fun. Whatever he says, I want us to go forward with.
Always even keel, which is what I need. But yes, I'm feeling good too. Very curious just what he's going to recommend, what he's going to say, now that we kind of have this like refreshed perspective, some new information, some additional testing. And I feel like our bodies and our minds are in a better position now to hopefully receive this information and follow through, because I kind of feel like it ends here. Like IVF, I don't know where to go if that doesn't work, but let's hope it works. So we'll be back after for a little debrief, and we need to pray before we go in, but yeah, so stay tuned. Literally just got back in the car. And I just remembered there was one question I forgot to ask him. So Alex literally ran inside and I hit record. Literally the appointment finished 2 minutes ago. It's 2:57. I just wanted to ask him about acupuncture. First of all, being back at this clinic, the familiar smell, seeing the doctor, like, it's just crazy how much has happened since the last time we were here, as far as just like physically, mentally, emotionally. And it's just like, so it was just crazy being back, knowing that we're literally about to kind of start over on this journey. This is fresh, super fresh, so I still need to process and talk to Alex. But I just wanted to capture these quick, like, this quick feeling of just, I feel like walking into the appointment, I was so clear about next steps and like our plan, you know, laparoscopy, start IVF, like that's it. That's what we're gonna do until the Lord tells us to stop. And here comes Alex. I'll be back. Okay, it's been some time. It's 3:51. We grabbed a quick healthy snack while we're killing time before our acupuncture appointment. And we've talked a little off camera, but I want to do some processing on camera because we're taking you guys along and we're documenting all of the ins and outs of this journey and the raw emotions. So basically, long story short, I went into that appointment feeling very confident about next steps, aka the laparoscopy and then jumping into IVF right after. So I don't want to discredit that feeling. So we're in the appointment and basically the doctor was kind of giving us a lot of options, which in the moment just sounded very overwhelming and was just a lot to process at once because again, I went in very clear-minded, so I wasn't really like open to hearing other things. So then when he brings up, oh, you know, well, if you're doing the surgery, like, why don't you try naturally? Like, you're still young, even though you have a low egg count, like, it's still, you know, possible to happen. Or, oh, why don't you just pause the surgery and start IVF to bank as many embryos as you can, and then you can always, like, decide later if you still want to go through the laparoscopy or take this other route with the Lupron, which like suppresses endometriosis if you have it, and it's basically a less invasive process, but kind of accomplishes the same goal apparently, which I knew about that option way back in December when we had that biopsy. And he's like, or you know, after your surgery you can just do a few rounds of IUI, like then do IVF. I mean, bottom line is all this information is nothing new, but just having it like resurface in the state that we're in now, I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting to hear all that because I just thought we were very clear, and I thought our thought process was going to be the same as the doctor's. And yeah, maybe he's like required to still give us options, but I did appreciate that he was trying to like feel me out. Alex thinks he was just like trying to like read what I was like wanting him to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I appreciate that he was like trying to take his time and just make me feel unrushed, and like that he was supportive of whatever route we took. I mean, at the end of the appointment, he did say that there's no wrong decision. He thinks all of them can have like a good outcome. It's more just up to us and our comfort level, and more specifically like how much longer we kind of want to wait. So I don't know. I just like wasn't expecting that, that's all.
I feel good. I'm not surprised by any of it.
Yeah.
It's all based off probabilities, so
yeah.
Just do we want to go the more aggressive route sooner rather than later, and do we want to take more time to lower probability? I get where he's coming from.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't leave in tears.
That's a plus.
I think it's
rare.
A step in the right direction.
It's rare. That's good. We'll figure it out. Somehow we'll figure it out.
I don't want to like discount, you know, the clarity we had before the appointment though, which I feel like I need to just remind myself of, like, you know, we booked the laparoscopy when we did for a reason. Maybe we should just see that through since it's already on the calendar.
It makes sense. One step at a time, see what the laparoscopy tells us, and you make a decision from there.
But the way he was explaining laparoscopy in his quirky sense of humor, was like, oh yeah, if you just want to go and get stabbed and paralyzed.
I think that's because you're on anesthesia.
I'm like, well, that doesn't make me feel good about making that decision. But I think he was trying to lighten the mood in some weird way. You just have to know this guy. And thankfully we know this guy because we've been working with him since last August. But I'm like, I don't want to get paralyzed either or stabbed. Oh my gosh, babe.
Yep.
He did say realistically that if I do go through with the surgery, I could probably start IVF in September at the earliest. And then between however many egg retrievals, which ideally in a perfect world, we do one, we get a good amount, we get good enough embryos, and by the time we send them off for testing and all the things, I think realistically we could potentially get pregnant in November, right before the holidays, which that would be a nice little gift. But anyways, that's the big update. And then I'll be back with an acupuncture update, which Alex ran back inside to ask the doctor if, you know, what he thought about acupuncture. And he didn't really have much to say. I don't know, we're just learning, okay? We're just learning. And I'll be back with our debrief after that appointment. Okay guys, we are back home from both of our appointments, and we literally just have a few minutes to get ready because we're going over to our neighbor's house tonight for some appetizers. So as promised, I want to debrief really quick about our acupuncture consultation, which the doctor was just super sweet and warm and just really kind, and you guys know that that is very refreshing to see on this journey. She was just very reassuring and very well versed and educated in her profession. She's been doing this for over like 25 years, and she has seen a lot of fertility patients and has seen a lot of pregnancies and success. So that was comforting. There seems to be a lot of good benefits with acupuncture as far as just finding those certain pressure points to release particular hormones like those endorphins that obviously can help relieve stress, which is a huge factor in fertility. But then what I learned in our appointment was that it can actually help like wake up more follicles, which the more follicles you have, the greater chances you have at producing more eggs. And for someone like me who has a lower egg count, that would be interesting to find out if acupuncture works that way for me and can actually help create more follicles. And she said a lot of her clients do IVF and acupuncture at the same time just because they work nicely together as far as relaxing your body, but then also kind of working alongside any of the fertility medications to give you the hormones that you need. So very interesting. The price point is a little much, but at this point, you know, what's another couple grand, right? You really can't put a price on just having this mental clarity and peace. And I feel like that's the biggest component to going into something like IVF, or even just continuing to fight through infertility. It's all about your mindset and where you have hope and where you have faith. But overall, both appointments, I would say, were positive. They went well, and the desire for a child is so strong that it almost like motivates us more to just commit to a decision and be willing to take any risks that come with it, because first of all, we've waited 3 years for this, and I've waited longer because this has always been a desire of mine even before being married. But then also, like, we really just want to be parents and have that experience and share this love and this story with someone else. So I just feel like we're gaining momentum again slowly by having, you know, these appointments checked off, but then also my surgery coming up, and then hopefully things will just fall into place and move quickly. And before you know it, hopefully you'll be seeing a pregnancy announcement video from me, and it'd be great if it happened by the end of this year. But I feel good, you know, taking these steps now so that we can at least start off next year even stronger than we started off this year. So, whew. And the good news is, you know, we still have surgery scheduled on the calendar, which I feel like we're still gonna follow through with that. But of course, we're just open to God closing that door if he does. And I'm still gonna focus on priming my body for surgery and really trying to stay away from gluten specifically. And keep us in your prayers. Pray that the surgery goes well. But also, we might have an opportunity to try right before surgery. I don't know if that's the smartest thing. I called my doctor in Jacksonville to ask if we could try, if that would impact the surgery at all, because potentially this could actually be our last cycle to try. I thought last month was, but it could maybe be this month, because my period came early. I don't even know if I said any of that. I'm just gonna drop that there. My period came early, which was not on my bingo card. And I didn't even document that moment because it just was so unexpected. My period is pretty regular, and the fact that it came early during the specific cycle where Alex and I were like intentionally praying over, you know, my womb was kind of crazy and was confusing at first, and of course disappointing. But it's like, out of all cycles, for it to come early, like extra early, I was like, okay, maybe this is God giving us the clarity we've been praying for. Like, he doesn't want me to wait, you know, another week for my period to come. He wants to just give us the clarity now that I'm not pregnant and that it's not his time. And also maybe he needed my period to come early so that it does allow us one more chance to try before my surgery. And then also I've thought about too, like maybe God had my cycle come early because he just needs to line certain things up so that way when we do IVF, you know, the timeline, because it all revolves around your cycle, as you know. So maybe he just had to get some other things in line for the future. So I don't know. That's just how I'm trying to comprehend why my cycle came early. It wasn't to confuse me. It wasn't to hurt me. God is at work somehow. And maybe I'll find out the reason for all this at some point. I'm gonna go because I'm making sourdough for my neighbors. I need to check on that, and we're supposed to go over there soon. So thank you guys for the constant support as always, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.